The store.
As people fled for their lives, the fear was there would be nothing to return to. And the devastating images today show for many that is the reality. About 90% of the community.
A minute later, our neighbor came rushing up, and that's when we saw the smoke.
Elder and former Chief Byron Spinks had minutes to get out with his wife.
We just had a devastating experience last night, and the smoke was coming up, the heat, you could feel the heat.
They scrambled to find their dog, but had to leave her behind. She's been seen on social media posts, giving them hope.
We didn't see it go up, but it is within 100 feet of it.
When he did look back from his sister's home a couple of kilometers away, the plume grew dramatically. Then came hours of tense waiting to finally hear good news from his daughter and grandson. They're safe. For others, they're still waiting.
I haven't heard from my cousins, Daryl and Gail, Daryl Dunstan and Gail Johnny, and my uncle Alphonse.
Casey Johnny is desperate to hear from some of her family.
It's been tough, emotional, because a lot of people have lost their homes.
The RCMP is now going door to door to try and find those unaccounted for. Meanwhile, the nearby community of Boothroyd is training its members to fight if the fire comes their way.
So we're ready to protect our community in any way we can.
But for now, it's one step at a time.
I'm afraid to go back, but I want to go back at the same time just to witness the devastation and just to make us, I guess, acknowledge and the loss that we've had.
So, Suzanne, I know a lot of people obviously want to get back and see what their homes might look like. So many reasons for heading back into the fire zone. Any sign from officials of when that might happen?
Well, they say at least not for 48 or 24 hours, rather, that there are still spot fires burning within the community itself. Of course, fires burning around the community, so they say it is simply too dangerous. Meanwhile, family members are posting lists on social media of those who are safe, those who they are still looking for. An evacuation center has been set up in Merritt, and evacuees are being told to register there or to register online to ensure everyone is accounted for. Ian?
And we sure can see that wind in the Fraser Canyon. Thanks, Susie. As the flames closed in on Lytton, Gordon Murray and his partner raced out of town, and they captured their escape on video.
Oh my God, look at that. Jesus.
Our house is actually doing pretty well so far. Holy shit, that's hot.
They eventually made it through the flames and smoke to safety, and we spoke earlier about that harrowing drive.
We did come around a corner and have big flames shooting out on one side or the other, but fortunately never both sides at the same time.
Much more of our conversation a little later in the hour, including the moment that he knew they were in trouble. And officials are urging anyone impacted by the evacuation to register with the province to help officials find people who currently are missing and direct resources to where they're needed. And you can find it online at ess.gov.bc.ca. Well, CBC meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff was tracking the Lytton fire for us last night as it unfolded. And Johanna, put all of this in context for us.
Well, Ian, climate change certainly behind the unprecedented wildfire situation we're dealing with right now. But so early in the season, there's fears that this could be a setup to a devastating summer. Last night, though, that was the worst case scenario that forecasters feared.
The world was already watching Lytton. It is BC's and Canada's hottest spot, shattering national temperature records 3 days in a row, from 46.6 to 47.9 to 49.5. Combined with a record dry spring, this recent heat set the stage for the fires we're seeing now. It dried the forests, making them easier to engulf, and high winds created a kind of blowtorch. Lytton sits inside a canyon. As the heat dome shifted east, pressure differences caused high winds to race up the valley into the village, at least 71 kilometers per hour. Fast enough to see a fire coming, like the last image from the Lytton weather station camera. And fast enough to have to run away minutes later. Fast enough, too, to help the fire jump across the river. From space, you can see the heat signatures as the fire pushed north. And while it had helped to grow, the danger now is that this wildfire can help itself. Take a look at this. What you're seeing is a mix of storm clouds and smoke, but they can act the same way. pyrocumulus clouds from wildfires can produce dry lightning and intense wind gusts, sparking new fires. And relief won't come as that heat dome continues east. It will open the door to more instability and intense thunderstorms.
And speaking of thunderstorms, we saw over 29,000 cloud-to-ground strikes yesterday, a literal firestorm setting off dozens of new wildfires yesterday, Ian.
So that was last night. Johanna, what are we seeing tonight?
More thunderstorms firing up right across the province. These are elevated and dry, fanning existing flames and certainly setting off new sparks in these hot and dry conditions. So, Ian, not over yet.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
You're welcome.